Moscow, July 2025. A man leaves a high-security apartment complex on the outskirts of the city. He glides through the summery shopping streets on an e-scooter, wearing a sharp blue suit, tailored, expensive. To the people passing by, he is Alexander Nelidov, a recently naturalized citizen. But his face is not exactly the face he was born with, and the $2 billion he is accused of stealing are nowhere to be found. This is Jan Marsalek, once the chief operating officer of Wirecard, once the golden boy of European Fintech. Today, he is a phantom in plain sight. He passes through the turnstiles of the Lubyanka subway station, just steps from the headquarters of the FSB. As of January 2026, the ghost has finally begun to speak. We are tracking his digital breadcrumbs from Singapore to London, uncovering a masterpiece of deception. This is not just a business story. This is an investigation into the shadow bank of the Kremlin. Welcome to the Hub. This is the Wirecard conspiracy. To understand how the world was fooled, we must look at the height. 2018, Frankfurt. Wirecard is admitted into the DAX 30. They replaced Commerzbank, a century-old institution. It was a symbolic victory. The old world of boring banking was dead. The new world of digital gold was here. But behind the gold standard branding was a rot that started in 1999. Wirecard's first clients were the untouchables of the internet, online gambling and adult entertainment, merchants that legitimate banks refused to touch. In 2005, they pulled off their first magic trick. They avoided the scrutiny of an IPO by taking over a defunct company called Infogen. It's what we call a reverse takeover. It was the first time they sidestepped the law. It would not be the last. Wirecard buys a bank. Suddenly, this payment processor has a banking license. This is the moment the fraud becomes bulletproof. Because they are now a bank, their financial statements become a labyrinth. Opacity becomes their greatest weapon. They merge merchant money with their own cash, creating a smokescreen that blinded regulators for over a decade. The date is January 6, 2026. The heat in Singapore is oppressive, but inside the district court, the air is ice cold. Today, the bill for the Wirecard fraud finally comes due. Two men stand before the judge, R. Shanmugaranatham and James Henry O'Sullivan, obscure directors of obscure companies who became the architects of the void. The judge speaks. 10 years for Shanmugaranatham, 6.5 for O'Sullivan. This is a landmark moment. They were the magicians of the escrow. They signed letters that claimed $2.1 billion were sitting safely in Philippine bank accounts. But the money was a ghost. When investigators finally looked, they found no accounts, just 53 forged documents on a single hard drive. This was the mechanism of the lie. It's called round-tripping, and it was only the beginning. But the $2 billion wasn't just a corporate lie to impress investors. It was a ghost fund for something far more dangerous. In the next 5 minutes, we move away from the spreadsheets and into the world of military intelligence. We are going to show you exactly how Jan Marsalek was protected by the Kremlin and the secret operation recently uncovered in January 2026 that proves Wirecard was never just a bank. It was a weapon. Don't move. The darkest part of this story starts right now.
But the question remains, why? Why would a multi-billion-dollar fintech giant, a company sitting at the heart of the European economy, risk everything for a lie? Was it just about the money? Was it just about the yachts, the private jets, and the prestige of the Munich elite? No. As we move into 2026, the investigation has moved past the spreadsheets. We are now looking at the world of military intelligence. Jan Marsalek wasn't just a chief operating officer. He was a super asset. For a decade, Marsalek lived a double life. In Munich, he was the tech genius in the sharp blue suit. But behind closed doors, he was obsessed with the tools of statecraft. He didn't just talk about banking, he talked about Novichok. He allegedly bragged to business associates that he possessed the secret formula for the Russian nerve agent. He carried top-secret documents regarding Russian military operations in Libya in his briefcase, showing them off at dinner parties like trophies. He wasn't just moving money, he was moving power. Wirecard had become something the world had never seen before. A shadow bank for the GRU, Russian military intelligence. The mechanism was perfect. Through Wirecard's global network, the Kremlin could move untraceable funds to mercenaries in Syria, to trolls in St. Petersburg, and to sleeper cells across Europe. If a traditional bank saw these transactions, they would trigger 1,000 red flags. But Wirecard? Wirecard was a national champion. They were the perfect mask for a shadow war against the West. As of January 2026, the full scale of this network has finally been laid bare. In London, the legal fallout from the Bulgarian spy trial has sent shockwaves through the intelligence community. We now know the names of those who did the dirty work on the ground. Orlan Rusev, Bisser Jambazov, Katrine Ivanova, Vanya Gabarova. These weren't just random Bulgarian nationals living in the UK. They were a professional spy ring operating under the direct command of Jan Marsalek, who used the alias Rupert Titch to run them from his safe house in Moscow. They were tasked with the impossible. They tracked investigative journalists like Christo Grozev, the man who exposed the Putin regime's poisonings. They conducted reconnaissance on U.S. military barracks in Germany. They even procured stolen smartphones from high-ranking Austrian officials, devices that were smuggled through Istanbul by a courier and handed directly to Marsalek's inner circle. Your digital payments, your retirement funds were inadvertently fueling a network of global sabotage. But the corruption didn't stop with spying. In late 2025, British and German authorities dismantled a massive laundering network known as Operation Chargeback and the SMART network. Investigators found that Marsalek was allegedly linked to a multi-billion-dollar cash for crypto system. This network took physical cash from organized crime in London and converted it into digital assets to fund sanctioned Russian elites. It was the ultimate evolution of the Wirecard fraud, moving from fake bank balances to a dark crypto economy that bypasses every global sanction. How did they stay hidden? Because the system was designed to protect them. For 5 long years, whistleblowers inside Wirecard tried to scream. They saw the money mules leaving the Munich headquarters with bags of physical cash, millions of euros at a time. They saw the lazily photoshopped bank statements where logos were pasted over empty documents. But when they spoke up, they were hunted. The German regulator, BaFin, committed one of the greatest institutional failures in history. Instead of investigating the fraud, they investigated the journalists who were exposing it. They filed criminal complaints against the Financial Times. They banned short selling to protect the stock price. They chose to believe in a hero rather than face the reality of a monster. In June 2020, the lie finally hit the wall. A single cable arrived from the Philippines. The documents in your possession are forgeries. $28 billion evaporated in 48 hours. Jan Marsalek didn't wait for the handcuffs. He told his colleagues he was going to Manila to find the money. Then he boarded a private jet to Belarus. As of today, January 2026, we know exactly who he has become. He lives in Moscow under the name Alexander Mikhailovich Nelidov. He has undergone a hair transplant. He has grown a beard. He is frequently seen on surveillance cameras entering the Lubyanka, the headquarters of the FSB. He isn't just hiding, he is thriving. He is dating Tatiana Spiridonova, a linguist and Middle East expert with deep ties to Russian intelligence. He has even been seen in military uniform, wearing the Z patch, visiting occupied territories in Mariupol and Crimea. The man who stole $2 billion from European markets is now a soldier for the regime that protects him. The story of Wirecard is a warning. It proves that in a world where money is just digits on a screen, the most dangerous weapon is a simple, confident lie. It proves that when we want to believe in a success story, we become blind to the truth. This investigation is far from over. In our next film, we are following the digital trail from Marsalek's Moscow office into the secret crypto networks funding the next generation of global espionage. You do not want to miss this. Hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and join us as we uncover the next piece of the puzzle. Stay curious, stay human. This is the Story Hub.